We're on our way to meet the team from Livity Africa, a youth content agency that upskills young people with digital and media skills. Today, they are pitching to a real-life client. So, no pressure, but rather exciting stuff. First, let's check in on a tip with our hypertext geeks. Right, Bilangelo, buying a smartphone opens up a world of, shall we say, unsafe business. Yeah. What do I do to ensure that it's safe to use?
Well, the first thing you really need to make sure of when you're getting a new smartphone is that you get insurance. So whether you're on a contract or prepaid, from a reputable retailer, that is, so your shopping outlets, your mobile network shops, they will offer you insurance. So they'll say to you, okay, do you want to insure your phone? Definitely, I do suggest that you go for that. So what happens is they will show you what amounts you'd have to pay each month according to how much your smartphone is. So for instance, if your phone is worth 1,000 Rand, you'd be paying, for instance, 30 Rand a month only, which is quite affordable when you think of it. So what happens is if your phone is stolen or lost or breaks, the insurance will cover the cost to either repair it or just get you a new smartphone so that you're safe. And we all know how expensive it is to get a new smartphone and start from scratch. And especially if you're on a contract, you're just paying for the contract on and on and on, and you no longer have the phone with you because you're still bound by the legal terms. So yeah, insurance, definitely get it. They're not just trapping you so that they get your money. Definitely go for it.
Livity Africa was launched in Cape Town in 2011 by former Livity UK Associate Director Gavin Wheel. Livity Africa was the first international expansion of this groundbreaking youth tech brand. It currently runs 2 core programs which help upskill young people with digital and media skills, one of which is Digify SA. Today, these DigiFire students are pitching to Lyndhurst Auto, a Mini Cooper dealership. They were given a real brief by the client and have been working on their pitches this whole week. Next week, they will follow the same process with a different client. Phew! Exhausting. These guys are not playing around. Right, Daniel, you've just come out of quite an intense branding and social media pitch. How are you feeling about what was delivered?
I think it's inspiring to see young students that have been on a 5-week course and the ideas and concepts that they're able to come up with. And I'm sure by the end of the course, they will have a good footing to get a job as a junior within an agency.
What do you think some of the downfalls were from today's presentation?
The downfalls of today's presentation were the reality. The implementation of some of the ideas were unrealistic and impractical. I think research was an important element which some of the students hadn't done. For example, researching giving additional maintenance plans when the cars already come standard with that as an example. Some of the campaign concepts would be really costly to implement, and it's very important to understand a client's brief, and in that brief is to look at budget and how much the client has to spend.
What was one of the things that stood out for you that you might really hope to see taken up and implemented?
I think just their tenacious attitudes and implementation with regards to taking things socially into different communities, having different events and engaging with the consumers. It's a really, really nice way to do it. We just need to think of the practical way of implementing those actual ideas.
Well, I'm sure that the guys are very relieved that their pitch is over. So let's check in at the office and see how Digifire are feeling about that pitch.
What I did this morning was a little bit overwhelming. It was a total different ballgame, but I enjoyed it though, because we've learned to overcome and not be overcome by the situation. And I think we did a good job. I loved working with my team and they were pretty inspirational. I loved it.
Our clients they're very known around South Africa, the world entirely, and yeah, so it was kind of nerve-wracking, but we got around it, so it was great.
Honestly, it was a learning curve, especially having a big client like Mini. It was a challenge, and I think that to be put in such a tight spot, it actually tests your ability to think on the spot. And considering the limited time span that we had, I think we did a great job in terms of coming up with brilliant campaigns, and it was just a thrill and a challenge, and I think we executed well, to be honest, yeah.
In terms of social media, we first had to look at what they've done so far, so that's called a social media audit. We looked through what they've done on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram, because those are the platforms that we're using. And we just dissected what they've done right, what could be worked on.
Basically, our strategy consisted of creating account uniformity across platforms. So what we were aiming to do was to make sure that each and every platform carried the same handle, same picture, same cover image, website, biographies, everything, just to make sure that when people go to each platform, they can see the consistency throughout the brand.
We wanted to add the human element to Lyndhurst Auto Mini, because a lot of the time when people socialize with brands on social media, they want to feel like they're speaking to someone, not just a business. So we wanted them to add that human element, that they must engage more with their clients or with their potential clients, and to just keep that interaction going on a daily basis, you know, to create fun hashtags that are directly pointed at the target audience that they want, at their current customers or their potential customers.
Well, I actually found out about Digify from a friend that attended the Digify 2.0, and she thought it would just be a really good experience for me to experience the advertising world, because I studied graphic design before I came here. So it would help to put on and add to my skills, adding on to the graphic design. And so far it's been great. We're learning about each other, we're learning about new people, we're sharing ideas, and we have a better understanding of the market and the advertising world as a whole.
So initially I found out about DigiFire through the Live Mag team. I'd been to some of the events around the Politics Day VIP program, so I was part of the mailing list and I got the email about it. Initially I missed the first deadline, but as soon as they extended it, I made sure that I jumped onto it. And so far, DigiFire has been very interesting. Even though I've had a little bit of experience in digital marketing, it's really sort of helped me structure my thoughts around it and structure my approach to how I want to get involved in the market.
We are exposed to so many things about digital marketing here. It's not only social media. So there's AdWords, there's Google Analytics, we have WordPress. There's so many things. So we're still exploring, and then we'll decide which one works better with you, then take it on.
I'm with Kakaza, who is the project manager at Digify. Tell me, what kind of skills do you equip your students with?
Okay, so Digify is a digital marketing skills training bootcamp. So we equip them with skills to run a successful digital marketing campaign. So that is from building websites to your SEOs to your social media. Then there's Google and there's analytics and YouTube. So it's basically all of those aspects that come in to create a really good and successful digital marketing campaign.
Who supports this initiative, and are any corporates involved?
Okay, so Digify is run by Livity Africa, and the main partners are Google and the IAB. We then also have agencies who have come through and been part of the training. So I mean, there's Network, there's MTN as well, some of the brands who've come through, and there's just various number of agencies and brands who've come through to help with the training and to give them practical skills to prepare them for the workplace.
How does Digify equip students for careers out there in media and digital fields?
Okay, so I think the nice thing about the 3 months that the students spend here is that in that 3 months they get briefs from agencies, and that's stuff that they're currently working on, and then they get to work on the strategy and then go through to the agency or through to clients to present. So that's something that you don't get so much in varsity if you are, let's say, learning about digital marketing, where they'll teach you the theory, but you don't really get that workplace experience. So there's that, and in the weeks as they roll out, so something as simple as you come in at 9 o'clock and you end at 5 o'clock, you know, so just getting them into that mindset that they've got to do that. So throughout the program, we run it as if it was your full-time job that you are coming to, and in there you start to learn the skills that you'll need for your corporate environment. There's speakers who come in to then help with getting their CVs perfect, then they come through and speak about the presentation skills and just about how to be professional within a workspace. So that's all within the program of Digify in that 3 months.
I'm with Lucille Devine, who is the head lecturer at Digify. What does the average day at Digify look like for a student?
It's quite busy, I must admit. Besides the projects that we actually hand out to them, they get between 3 and 4 projects handed out on a weekly basis. And then we have motivational days as well, where we get leading experts within the field to come through and actually motivate them and also teach them the knowledge that they have with regards to digital marketing.
How varied are the briefs that they receive while they're here?
They're quite varied. We look at different industries, for instance, finance, the motor industry, fashion and retail. So we get quite a nice genre of topics coming through. And then we also work closely with agencies, reputable agencies that are out in the field at the moment. And basically they come through and they give us a brief from their client, and then we are actually tasked to actually go through, create a presentation, come up with creative ideas, do a total strategy and an audit, a social media audit, as well as an SEO audit, and then present our findings.
How much of a dent in my pocket would a boot camp like this cause me?
Well, it's not going to cost you a lot. We are targeting youth between the ages of 18 and 25. And Google and ABI, who are partnering with us, with Digify and Livity Africa, they are actually paying full tuition for this boot camp. So these students that you've actually met and interviewed have had their studies paid for upfront by these organizations.
Now, we were part of and sitting in on your big pitch to Mini. What was the feedback? Was it a great success? Did they like much of it?
Absolutely. Mini was very excited because of the fact that we were appealing and tapping into the direct target market. Because once our students go into the field and they start to actually work with agency, Mini is in line with what they're appealing with. So ideally it is their target market. But more than that, I think Mini was very excited about all the ideas that we actually shared with them. We basically went in there with a whole list of ideas. And the teams presented, and I think they did very, very well.
Tell me more about the success stories. Once your students leave boot camp, where have they gone and what do they go on to?
Okay, right now we are with Digifire 3.0. We've done 1.0 and 2.0. Both groups have been quite successful. We managed to place all of the students into agency or else into brands directly. And there's a few success stories. There are people that are actually starting to make their mark, that are becoming leaders. For instance, one of the students that joined one of our Google partners, he actually went on to won an award and has been recognized internationally.
Well, doing social media and online properly has really become a full-time job. So well done to the movers and shakers that you're cultivating here at Digify. And here's to world domination.